In the first place, what kind of existence is the Pope? That origin is in the Christianity. After the execution of Jesus was done, he was revived, and he encouraged apostles and many other believers. But Jesus himself rose into the upper world to do activities outside the earth, so the left apostles traveled the circumference of Israel to spread the instruction of Jesus. In those days, Rome was the center of Israel, because Israel was a Roman dependency. Therefore, many people aimed for Rome. Then, Peter reached Rome. He passed away in there after the activities there. And the people who regretted him built a chapel there. And after that, the priests who administers there, they came to call themselves the successor of Peter. That is Pope's beginning. Rome in those days used religion to show off the power, and Pope came to administer law soon. Then recently, the ground where a cathedral is there became independent state, the Vatican City. And the Pope became the best man of power. Present Christianity looks like Israeli Sadducee and Pharisee 2,000 years ago. Sadducee is the elite priests of a small number which administered the big shrine of the capital Jerusalem of Israel. Pharisee is the priests of majority who did teach in the public hall which was in the towns around Jerusalem. Both were made the target of the criticism of Jesus because they were seized with wrong interpretation of commandment at that time, and they didn't respect humans' life, too. A modern Christian system looks like this. In other words, churches are scattered around Vatican in the world. Therefore, it can be said that Vatican is a Christian center. Then, they are failing to grasp the real intention of the Bible, though they don't lose sight, like Sadducee and Pharisee. Why didn't they respect the life? It is because they were making law from Moses' precepts of the Old Testament. It is being written there about the animal sacrifice and the sinner's death penalty as a metaphor. They didn't find that was a metaphor. On the other hand, modern Christians deny being concerning violence because they are learning the New Testament. But now, the Christian countries loses sight of the instruction of Jesus. It is that proof that war isn't cut off. In such meaning, ancient Judaism and modern Christianity look alike. Originally, the Pope must succeeds Christ's intention, and he must spreads Christ's instruction, because he call himself the successor of Peter. And he must make effort for the peace. However, about 580 when Islam rose, crusade was organized, and Christianity made war. The ideology of the peace has already collapsed. Then, Roman Church was insisting on the Ptolemaic theory in about 1500 AD. In other words, they were telling that the universe go around the earth. Galileo advocated the opposite in that, and insisted that the earth go around the sun. At this time, he was considered the heresy to disobey the instruction of the Church by them, and brought to a trial. The Pope of the time, which was Galileo's friend, fought to him, too. Though he withdrew his own view, and escaped execution, he was made lenient confinement in home all through his life. Like this, the Pope in those days was the existence not to respect humans' life. But on one side, Pope Johannes Paul II was the person who remained in the peace activities. He was traveling all of the world for the peace, and he kept persuading Bush to abandon Iraqi war. It was this Johannes Paul II that apologized officially as a position of Vatican, that recognized Galileo's opinion was right. Present Christian meeting holds the Bible, and the people discuss it around the priest. It is indispensable existence in that meaning, but it can be said that the true instruction isn't being given to us. It is because there are no priests who really understands the Bible in the present day. It may be that they knew it until the age of Gnosis of the primitive Christianity. They were oppressed in the power, and they were considered as the heresy. Then, they left what was called the Dead Sea transcription, and disappeared. And present churches deletes or reincarnation's general idea. They deleted reincarnation's description from the gospel at the religion conference. It is because of slipshod editing that the gospel sometimes does a irrelevant description. Why did they deny reincarnation? It is because they can control the people by teaching that men could go to the heaven if men lived according to instruction of the church. The church thought that the people would not follow the church if they hear that they could finally go to the heaven after many hard reincarnation. Because of that, the modern Christians who succeeded such instruction show a tendency to hate the person who advocate reincarnation, and they think the thought way of reincarnation is the heresy. As if the people in the old days hated Galileo. Though they are in the position to make stop war and adultery, these are rampant in the world. Though there are people doing the endeavor to drive them out, the world isn't improved. That may be because the church denying the general idea of reincarnation. The general idea of reincarnation is indispensable to understand the Christ's instruction, especially many allegories. In the first place, Christ told allegories because it was difficult to introduce it to cultureless general public in a short time. More, because it was effective to touch human subconscious mind. The word, listen to it, who have ears, is such meaning. Furthermore, if you appreciate the whole of the Bible from the Old Testament, you can't understand it without the general idea of reincarnation. Then, this general idea is necessary for all mankind on the earth beyond the frame of the religion. Priests don't believe reincarnation. They are just like astronomers who insist on the Ptolemaic theory in the modern society. And it seems that few people telling the importance of chastity. It is because the disorder of the sex is serious and a divorce rate is high in America and Europe. And the ideology of the peace of Christ isn't introduced either. It is because quarrel and war are going on continuously in the world. But in the New Age, everyone will know the meaning of the Bible. Then, it is decided that everyone has wisdom beyond the priests. Therefore Pope's authority will decline, too. Priests will be the mere people who put on their black clothes. But human being doesn't always become sage just because it had knowledge only on the surface. After a long time, their wisdom will come to be reflected on the action, and men come to get wisdom truly. Therefore, the people won't be able to catch up with the priests who send holy tranquility life soon. Then, the priests who have actual love will be respected continuously. It is said that there is a Fatima prophecy. They say that Johannes Paulus II who read this fainted. It may be that collapse of the system of Vatican was probably being written there. As written here. That is not the bad meaning, it is the meaning that intelligence is brought to mankind. It means that the Pope's authority will disappear, though he doesn't always disappear substantially. The present Francisco I may become the last Pope in such meaning. It is not bad meaning, but it is in the good meaning.